Hi everyone, this is a really random time to be filming this. This is very late at night because I usually do my injections on Monday night, so it is Monday night. But unfortunately, as is often the case, I have kind of left my injection to way too late in the night because it's my least favorite time of the week. I really hate having to stick myself, so I kind of procrastinate and put it off, and my brain wants to just forget about it. So I often end up here at a very late hour of the night, and I have to do my injection, and I'm tired, and I just want to go to bed, and I don't want to deal with it. Yeah, that's where I am right now, so that's why there's not very good lighting. But I did want to give another little Zepbound update. I don't even know what week I'm on specifically at this point, but I will put it in the title. But I wanted to talk about a couple of things that have happened recently that could just be good to know if you are thinking about trying Zepbound, or maybe you are on it but you haven't done these things before. The first being long-term travel with Zepbound. I not too long ago got back from my Japan trip, and that was 2 weeks long, so I had to take 2 doses of Zepbound with me and administer them while on the trip. So I googled how to do that beforehand and kind of figured out a method that I was pretty sure would work for me. And so here's what I did. First, I bought myself a case for syringes on Amazon. This is just one of the cheap ones, but I looked for one that had good reviews in terms of holding the needles securely. And of course I got a pink one, and it comes with a couple compartments. So it has 2 plastic cases that securely close to hold your syringes. And then there's also a section here to put stuff in. So I've just put I put a bunch of extra alcohol pads in there. And it also came with this cool pack, which is the shape of the case. And then if you just freeze it, it will act as a cold pack for the day of travel. For my purposes, this didn't make sense, so I have not even opened it. But the situation is that you have these little Zepbound vials, at least for the self-pay. You get your own vials, and then you get separate syringes. At least in the case of Zepbound specifically, these are okay, I think, for 21 days, unrefrigerated. So I was like, there's no point in me taking the little ice pack and then having it melt, immediately, and then it just becomes unrefrigerated still. And it's also not advisable to put them in your checked baggage because the temperatures in the baggage hold, if you check your bag in the plane, can vary a lot more compared to the cabin for humans. So it's really recommended to take your vials with you in your carry-on luggage. However, these are liquid, so you do have to kind of prepare for that at security. I think because they are a medical item, they don't necessarily fall under the clear plastic bag rule, but I put mine in a clear plastic bag anyway just to be safe. So I took 2 doses with me, so I took 2 vials out and I put them in a plastic bag, and then I also took the big box that they come in. I should go get it. Wait a minute. I also took the big box that it comes in, and the prescription is written on the box, but the prescription info is on this sticky on the front, and then I just tore the 2 sides of cardboard that had the prescription on it off from the other ones, and then I put those pieces of cardboard in the baggie with it so that it was clear what the vials of medicine are. They're my prescription from this doctor. I wasn't super careful about it. I didn't realize it was 2 sides worth of sticky, so I did end up ripping it in the middle, but it was okay. And then that baggie with my vials and the prescription information, I just had it in my really tiny personal item right close to my body so that I would always have it in case anything happened, because they are high value items. They're really expensive. I did not want to lose them. And then what I did with the syringes is I took them out of their plastic wrappers and then I put them into the cases, and I believe the way that the cases are made, the top protective stopper thing has to be taken off so that the syringe handle is totally free. But then the needle cover, I could keep that on there, so I didn't have to uncap the needle itself. And then you can just open the syringe a bit and have the handle come up, and then the case has many spots for the handle to fit in. So you can protect your needle as you travel with it. And I prepped one needle in each case, and then I just put this case in my checked luggage so that I didn't go through security with needles. It was just the liquids. Once I was in Japan, I was free to combine them, so I put the vials into my little pink case also, so that everything is in one place. And then administering them on the go was no problem. I just did it in the hotel room. But then there was the question of what to do with your needles after you've administered your dose while traveling. I think in the Seattle airport bathrooms, I was really intrigued to see that they had needle disposal bins in all of the bathrooms. So if the place that you're traveling happens to have needle disposal locations, that would be the most convenient. But I wasn't about to go and find a specific needle drop place in Japan. We were very busy, so I didn't have time for that. So as soon as I was done, I took my used needle or syringe and then just slotted it back into the case and closed it back up. And now I've brought the 2 cases back home with me with my used syringes. So I haven't actually opened them yet. I was going to show them to you, so I haven't done that. But I'm going to show you now. Got my good friend, the Sharps bin here. And then what inside the case looks like. And then inside the case, this is how the needle is stored. I'm going to be very careful about how I handle this. But there's a place for the wings to kind of slot in, and then the syringe handle can be put to any one of these heights. And the needle itself is right now exposed, so I need to dispose of it without touching the needle part. I'm just gonna put it right in the bin, as usual. Okay, same thing for this one. And now the cases are empty and they're ready to go on another trip. Because of the self-pay Zepbound limit of 21 days, I think, out of the fridge, then in theory, I would only bring up to 3 weeks worth of doses. So I wouldn't travel much longer than that in total, unless I had some other plan to store the doses in refrigeration very soon after. This is what I did to travel with them, and I had no problem with transporting my syringes like this, and they were all protected in my checked bag. And I also had no problem taking the vials through security. I thought that maybe someone would ask about them. And a lot of folks actually recommend just whipping them out immediately and showing them of your own accord, just being here's my medicine. So I thought about doing that, but I was a little bit nervous still. I just left it in my bag, and it was such a small amount of liquid, I think. And I also go through pre-check where they're a little bit less strict about things, and nobody said a word. So I also got through security with no problem. Really quickly, the last thing that I wanted to talk about was what happened last week when I was injecting my dose. I feel like the injection materials that they send every month change a bit. They're always kind of looking different. But the syringes have been the same brand since the start, until last time, where they sent me this new kind of syringe. It just looks a little bit different, the packaging from the last ones, but the syringe inside looks the same. But something happened to me that's never happened before, which is that when I was in the midst of putting air into the vial and then flipping it and taking the medicine into the syringe, during the process of preparing the dose in the syringe, the needle tip itself got a little bent out of shape. So it was slightly not straight, and that was not very good. And I noticed that it was difficult to put the air in, the syringe handle wanted to come back up. There was resistance trying to put the air in. And then same thing with drawing the medicine out. There was resistance. It just didn't want to pull out smoothly as usual. And then there was also resistance trying to push the dose into my body. That was a little concerning, and yeah, I don't recommend moving forward with that syringe if that happens to you. I will definitely be a lot more careful moving forward not to bend the syringe too much and handle it roughly. I'm going to be a lot more ginger about it now. But in the moment, I did not know what to do. I was just oh, the dose is already in the syringe. I've got to just administer it. I have to use it. So even though the angle was kind of wonky, I was okay, I'm just going to aim it so that the needle still goes pretty straight into my skin. And yeah, there was resistance, but I did manage to get my dose into me, I'm pretty sure. So overall, it turned out okay. But I really don't recommend doing that if that happens to you. Like, if I had taken a bit more time to like think about it logically, I could have put the dose back into the vial and just taken a whole new syringe and started fresh. There's no instructional material that I've seen that tells you what to do if something like that happens, but I'm pretty sure it's a good idea to not use the needle if it looks wrong. I don't know if there's a problem with like putting the dose back into the vial, but I don't see why you couldn't. So if that happens to me again, I will just put it back in the vial and start with a new needle. Yeah, that's just something to be aware of that I've never experienced before. I didn't know could happen, but I feel like it happened with this other different needle that I got. And now this is the kind that I have a bunch of, so I'm a little worried it's going to happen again, but I'm going to be a lot more careful. Hello, it's future me. This is just after I did my injection, and I had a little update further to give. I just administered my dose with another of the new needles in the blue packaging. This time I didn't have any problems with like bending the needle tip, but I still had a weird like resistance in the syringe. Pushing the air into the vial, it wanted to come back up. And then pulling the medicine out of the vial into the syringe, it felt like there was resistance. And then this time, actually pushing the handle down for the injection, like I chose a spot that didn't hurt very much this time, or like usually doesn't hurt. Really weirdly, this time it got like halfway down and then the plunger just kind of stopped. And I was like, what is this? Do I need to just keep pushing? Yeah, I need to keep pushing. So I had to push way harder than I'm used to. And I had to push like with the same force as last time. And last time I thought it was because I fucked up the needle somehow. But no, I think the needle's just like that now, the syringe. And having to push harder and keep the needle in my skin longer, I think it just led to it hurting more than it would usually in that spot. So I definitely think that there's something different about these new needles that they're sending me. And I really don't like them. And I don't want to have to deal with this on top of everything every week. It's already unpleasant enough having to stick yourself, and now I have to stick myself harder, apparently, because these needles have some weird resistance to them. I really hope they switch back to the other ones. I feel like every week it's kind of a crapshoot what kind of syringe or alcohol swab or gauze brand they give you. They just kind of give you like a potpourri, and the stuff that they give you can clearly change over time. Man, I don't know who made this decision, but I don't like these new blue needles, whatever they were called. I think the old ones were in like a black font packaging. I think that's the same brand, but I think it's just like rebranded and they changed the design a little bit. I don't know. Maybe this is just a bad batch of needles. I don't know, but this is twice in a row now that it's been weirdly high resistance, and I don't like it. But yeah. Just wanted to let you know that just happened. Otherwise, things are going well. Not really any changes. I still get itchy, but I still control the reaction with Band-Aids, the waterproof kind. I've been noticing a lot less of the dark marks and scarring afterwards with this Band-Aid method. So I do recommend that, and things are going well. Alright, thank you for watching as always, and I will see you in whenever the next update is. Bye.